make you guys an offer, and congrats for getting all these offers.
Thank you.
I'll make you the
guys.
$250K,
Yeah.
but I want 12%. And the reason I'm asking for a little higher valuation than Robert, you still get to keep most of your equity, so you know you diluted minimally.
Welcome to the intro, no need for introductions. All about the world and the world what we discussing. Where every single thought that we had came from something. So it's funny that we made it when we started here with nothing. Gotta open up your mind just to find out why. When you lost inside the dark, just gotta turn on the light. And no matter what you do, you never run from a fight. Because we fighting to be better and that's why we strive.
All right, I'm here with Sam Chason, the CEO of Storage Scholars. One of our good buddies, Andrew, and then also Sawyer introduced us. And you want to do a quick introduction and tell the whole world who you are?
Yeah, so appreciate it, Cory. My name is Sam Chason. I'm the founder and CEO of Storage Scholars. We're a pickup and delivery storage company on college campuses across the country. Originally from Mount Kisco, New York. I'm 24 years old, but we're here in Austin, here to stay.
There we go, man. Dude, how you like in Austin?
I love Austin.
It's the best, dude. It's
Yeah.
the best. It's the best. It's the tech community here, the people here, the weather. I mean, actually, I hate the weather in the summer, but I mean, it's just like I think New York's pretty humid in the summer, right?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in New York. I went to school in North Carolina. I was there for
that's
2
how you
years
know
after.
Sawyer.
Well, that's how I know our friend John Kennedy, Hunt, and then they went to UNC. Hunt went to Wake Forest. That's where I went. So
Gotcha. Okay.
they're all just kind of the connect. It goes way back.
Okay, there you go, man. Wait, so how'd you come up with the idea for Storage Scholars? Like, it's, I mean, honestly, storage units, I always thought would be a super profitable business. Like, there's a few businesses that I've thought of doing, and that was one of them. Yeah. So we'll get into what Storage Scholars is, but like, why'd you come up with the idea?
Yeah, so I grew up in a family of 2 educators, so education was super highly valued. And when I went to Wake Forest, it was like, all right, the school's $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
I actually had been like a little hustler entrepreneur my whole life. So I had $50,000 in cash, like in a safe in my parents' basement, but that still wasn't $70K a year.
What was that from though?
Oh my God. It was from like artisan lemonade businesses at 5, like selling candy out of my locker in middle school.
Yeah.
Lawn mowing businesses, pet care, and then I started actually doing these like pretty epic garage sales. Mm-hmm. I would buy and sell and flip and sell things.
This
on commission.
Gary V shit, dude.
Dude, like anything from a 50-cent T-shirt to like a $15,000 M3. Like I would sell thousands.
Did you watch because of Gary V, or you're already doing that? You're like the OG Gary V.
I was doing my own thing. I was not a YouTube kid. I was not
me neither. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But so coming to Wake, I was like, okay, this is how much I need to make each year, each summer in order to pay off my education.
That's so much money, dude.
Yeah.
So much money, bro.
Yeah.
70,000. Is it Ivy League? I know Wake Forest is big, but like
top 30, baby.
Really? Dude, that's so much money. What degree did you get? Like, what are you?
I started out as a like engineer.
Okay.
And then I went to econ, and then ended up being business entrepreneurship.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was like everyone was wearing suits there. That's where all the money was going.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know why I'm messing around taking physics classes.
So much money. All right, continue. Sorry, I'm just.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that allowed me to think big, right?
Yeah,
so if I was going to a state school, it had already been paid off. I've been like, I'm gonna get my education. I'm gonna like have a bunch of friends, whatever. Like college would be sick. But then it was like, no, like I'm about my grind. Like I need to get it done. So freshman year, first semester, October, I had 2 international homies. One was from China, one was from Ethiopia.
Nice.
And they would stereotypically bring these 2 big suitcases overseas on their check bags. Mm-hmm. And then they'd buy their bedding, their bikes, like all their school supplies and shit like that here. And they kind of looked at me as like their resident American friend. They're like, Sam, what did we do with our stuff at the end of the semester? I'm not going to ship it back to China. I paid $80 for it. I'm like, you're right. Like, you're not going to do that. They're like, what do you do with it? I'm like, I've never been to college before. I don't know. I'm going to drive it home. Like,
because they're going back to China and then they're gonna come back to Wake Forest.
Summer break.
Yeah, for sure.
So 4 months you're out. Ethiopia, you're out. So I was like, it was clearly a like need for someone to pick people's stuff up at the end of the semester, then bring it back. And then I ended up meeting my business partner later on, a year later, and he kind of epitomizes the way that we run the model, where he was working 20, 30 hours a week, getting screamed at as an intramural referee, like in the pouring rain, getting paid $7.25 an hour.
Yes.
Like, BS job, right?
Yeah.
And that's his work study. So I kind of looked at him and I was like, why are you working so hard? He's like, I need to make money for college. I'm like, there's no way you're going to pay off your education making $7 an hour.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
come work for me. You'll make more in a week than you'll make an entire semester. So
damn. Were you guys making money yet, or you were just confident that it was going to be a profitable business?
both. Right?
Okay. Respect.
So he was year 2, right? So we had year 1. I did it with like some friends and such, and we just moved kids out. Like I used my pickup truck. We rented a couple U-Hauls, used storage units.
Cool.
Had $18,000 in revenue, served
Nice,
64
dude.
customers. I was like, this shit's going.
what were expenses though? Was it about that or like? Or?
No, so we had like 50% margin.
Okay,
On it.
okay.
So that's why I was like, I actually had an original business partner at the time. That's kind of a different story, but I ended up switching the name of the company. It used to be Wake Storage on Wake Forest campus. It's actually the reason why I changed the company was to kind of separate from him, but also
gotcha.
Expand to different schools.
Exactly.
And it's also the reason why we ended up getting our first contract. So
nice, dude. Nice. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. Wait. So what was that first process like? Getting that first customer, was it one of your buddies, or like what was what was that whole story?
No. So a lot of people make fun of me or they won't like agree with me on this statement. But I would say like if you're not embarrassed by the first product you put out, you probably released it too late.
Yeah.
So if I like look back to the 11.5 by 8, printer paper that I reamed the printer paper that I took from the library, printed out some like clip art looking shit. Said, here's a truck, here's a storage unit, here's me, like, welcome to Wake Storage. And I went door to door, every freshman on campus.
What?
And
Nice.
I knocked on the door and they're like, come in.
Yeah.
Come in. Like, no, like I'm not your friend or your boyfriend, like at the
yeah.
door. I'm just trying to sell you some storage. like let's get.
Yeah.
And so I saw some interesting things, had some interesting conversations.
For sure.
But at the same time, for better or for worse, I think for worse when I was a college student at the time, but for better for the business, I very quickly got labeled as like the storage kid on campus.
Nice.
And everybody knew who I was. They put a face to the name. My face is now on the box. So I'm like a lawyer on a park bench. But,
for real. Yeah, the 444 guy, whatever.
Yeah.
All over the signs here. Wait, so what did you charge for that very first storage?
Yeah, so we have everybody pay a $50 deposit. And that's what helped me bootstrap the entire thing, to this day up until a couple months ago. That paid for the original cost of the first month of storage, labor, whatever. And then they paid, when I would pick it up, they'd pay for the 4 months in advance. It's a monthly fee for each item per month with a 4-month minimum.
Gotcha.
So at the time, a box was like $12 a month, $48 for the summer. The average cost down was probably around $400 for the summer. Packing supplies, pickup, storage, delivery.
Yeah, for sure.
Ironically, when I think back to it, I remember my first 2 customers that I picked up.
Yeah.
First when I got there, the kid negotiated with me on the spot.
Dude, hustler, dude.
Right? And I'm like, damn, is this how this is going to go?
Yeah.
But he was like, oh, this is about to cost, I told him it's going to cost, $458. Like, wow, like, can I pay $350? And I'm like, I guess. I used to negotiate, sure, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I went to the next girl, and her mom was there, and she was packing up the whole room for her.
Yeah.
She had 4 times the amount of stuff. She was going to store for 8 months. And I'm like, it's going to be $1,576.
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid just negotiated with me before, right?
That's a lot of money to say out loud, too. Yeah.
Face to face with this mom, first time. I'd never run the service before. I'm assuming it's going to come back well, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, okay, like, credit card or check? I go, check. She goes, who should I make it out to? I go, Sam Chason. And she wrote on the spot $1,500. I'm like, I'm locked in. We're good to go. Like,
damn.
That's
I mean, isn't it weird how, like, that's what I hate about sales is that you could have, like, technically if I go back in time, all my first 100 customers could have been no's, and then I would have been like, oh, my company's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Like, you just need that, like, couple of yeses to, like, get you going.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So you have 18,000 the first year. I feel like I'm in Shark Tank now. What'd you do your second year? Second year sales?
Yeah, 128.
128K?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. All right. Wait, so what,
3 campuses.
how many, what year was that then when you second year?
So started technically in like, this says 2017, but it was like October of 2016, but first spring of 2017, freshman year 2018. So it was freshman, sophomore, junior year.
Our company started around the same time, actually. And mine was like 2015, 2016. It was a different company then, but like did not work out. So I didn't have that mom writing me a check. Dude. Didn't have that OG story.
Dude,
haven't
thought about that in a while.
Dude, there you go. Wait, so what were the biggest challenges when you first started? Like, were people just like, did you ever lose somebody's shit? Like what were the challenges?
I mean, in that sense, no. I mean, we're taking things from a campus at that time 10 minutes down the road to a storage unit and back.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's kind of hard to lose something.
Yeah.
You know, the hardest thing first year, the hardest thing consistently has been the people. Right? I mean, when you're a service business, like I can be here talking to you, and like, you know, I'm Sam Chason, I'm the owner. Like, this is a great company, go use it. But who's the person that's actually doing the moving? Who's the person that's calling you on the phone doing customer service and such? So getting the right people in place to sing the same song and do the same dance has been the hardest thing. And in the beginning, who are the ones that are working for you? It's your friends on campus, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, oh, we'll show. That sounds. Some of them are like, that sounds cool. We'll show up. And then it's 8 a.m. on Friday morning, and they're not there. Or Saturday morning, Donnie, where you at? Like, and he's like, doesn't answer, and I'm sprinting around campus, and he's like, yeah, dude, party last night. My bad. Come on, like, so,
they could care less. They're like, yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
So that, like, microcosm of an example obviously has compounds when you're on many campuses, many different roles and stuff like that.
So cool. Wait, so it's honestly kind of crazy that there isn't like an internal solution built for colleges, that they wouldn't just do this naturally and charge you for this in the summer. Like, here's your rent, and then you pay this much in the summer to not have to literally move all of your shit back and then bring it all back in the fall. Like, have you ever thought about why that isn't just internally built into colleges?
Yeah, I mean, initially I was like, that seems crazy, but they make way more money renting out those rooms for summer school, for conferences, for classes and stuff like that over the summer. And I know a couple schools that have done it, and they've made a decent amount of money doing, and that's only when the housing and residence life departments are bifurcated, and housing is more of like a real estate play, and then they're like business people, and they're like, yeah, we want to make a couple $100,000 doing that. But you have to think about the reason why people have a hard time working for me, and is the same reason why, like, these are the same pain points for using the service in general. I mean, this is the end of the semester. It's nice out. You're taking your final exams that count for like 60% of your grade. You're moving out, and if you're an administrator, you're doing all these checkouts. You want to leave. No one wants to all of a sudden take on like an entire new business line, right? Especially for the people in residence life, they wouldn't make money off of it. They'd be making money for the school, so they're like, I'm good with that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Let somebody else handle it.
Wait, so are most of your employees in like, not the executive suite, but like in the actual colleges? Are they like college students that you bring on?
Yeah, so that was our like secret sauce in the beginning, is we set up an infrastructure essentially of our business model on every single campus with college students. So it's like we have campus co-founders, we have marketing managers, operations people, go through an entire formal. Now it's an entire formal like spring internship.
Oh, for sure.
LMS system, training modules. That worked super well for the last 6 years, 26 campuses, 9 states. We paid $801,000 to students.
Very cool.
So sick. I paid my student, like, I didn't have debt after campus, like after school. Neither did my business partner. We had a couple other people that like kind of went on the same path. Yeah. But that's not scalable.
In what sense? Just because it's all students, or in what sense?
So you can find a couple great like student leads or co-founders or interns, employees, whatever, pretty consistently every year for the most part.
Okay, because you have to like hire new every time because they leave college.
But yeah, and you're not oftentimes gonna have the same kid that's gonna work for you freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. Like they're gonna want to do something different, right? So. But then that's not the difficult part always. It's then you have a couple leaders on campus, and then you need, I'm moving out 500 students. I need like 60 students to help us do the moving, right? How do you consistently find that labor force? So that's when just last Thursday actually it went live, like the national press release. We partnered with a company called Serva. Okay. And they're the biggest logistics company on the planet.
Nice.
They do all the moving that you and I wouldn't see for the majority of the Fortune 500 companies.
Cool.
That, I mean, I'm not like allowed to name them, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right. So they're not doing the household good moves, moving you from your house in Austin to New York, right? They're doing
they're clearing Apple out and moving them to the next location, kind of thing.
Precisely.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're it's a win-win-win in so many different ways, because they basically have 800 locations across the country alone, and they're also national. So they have a location within 20 to 25 minutes of every single college campus in the country. They're now the backbone of our logistics. They're the warehousing, the trucks, the professional labor. So we still have those students. That still is what gives us access to the campus with the administration and getting access to the dorms. That's kind of like the secret sauce of the business as well, operationally. But then those students are leading the movers around campus because they know the most efficient ways to get in the dorms, whatever. But then the students are no longer the ones that are driving 26-foot box trucks.
Yeah, and they're not like lifting couches out of. We
did it. Believe me, I have scars and broken bones from it. But like, it's that in itself is now allowing us, from the operational standpoint, to scale to anywhere.
Dude, that's such a smart idea. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine having to like re-onboard employees every single. I'm assuming it's spring. Is it? Well, because you have quarters and semesters with different colleges, but like when are your hiring cycles before this Serva? Would you say
Serva? Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, what were your hiring cycles like around the year?
And we're still this is the first year we're rolling it out, so we're still can't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So I'm still hiring everyone, and then Serva will be like the bonus backup, and then we'll roll it out fully. But we would hire. I used to try to hire over the summer and in the fall, but honestly, it's like we don't really have much for them to do.
That's tough.
So you'd hire them, and then you'd kind of try to keep them interested, but with really no payment. So then we actually just start hiring. Mostly, we go so hard over end of the semester in December, winter break. That's when kids are mostly looking for internships. January, and then we start them at the beginning of February for like the spring cohort.
Gotcha. Okay. And was there anywhere for them to move up? Like you're like, hey, you did a great job moving. Like now you're going to be our marketing lead. Like what? Like what's
100%. Yeah, there's a business infrastructure, right? So you have like movers, you have operations managers, you have marketing managers, and then you have the co-founder.
It's kind of like a triangle.
A pyramid. Yeah, I mean, like just in terms of volume, the number of people that run those positions.
Very
but
interesting.
and it used to be that, I'm trying to figure it out. It's like it used to be I would hire like my friend, right, at Syracuse University, and he was the co-founder, and he'd find some of his friends, and I'd pay him a percentage of revenue, essentially.
The easiest way to do it, for sure.
Right, and then it was like, okay, can I pay these people, per customer acquisition? And this past year we just switched it up fully, where it's, let's pay you a consistent, like inflated hourly, like minimum you're getting paid $17 an hour up to like 25, 26. So it's, for a college student, like a good hourly wage. They get paid for the work that they put in. They get paid like bonuses, for acquiring more customers and stuff like that too. It just became too convoluted. Like when you're an entrepreneur, you think, and everybody else thinks they want to be an entrepreneur, but like at the same time, when it gets down to it, like they're like, how much money am I actually making? Right?
Exactly.
I'm like, I don't know how much you're gonna make. How much are you gonna sell? And it gets a little sketch.
Wait, what is there like a huge benefit, like if you hire some popular kid in the freshman dorms to like marketing this concept?
Yeah, I mean, candidly, I think it goes both ways. So that popular, fraternity dude that has girlfriend is in a sorority that can get their 10 friends who get their 10 girlfriends, and all of a sudden there's 30 people. In theory, that is a really successful way to market, and you get the whole sorority on board, and it's like, oh my gosh, like Storage Scholars is Pike, Storage Scholars is Beta, and then that's kind of how it grows. But in my experience, stereotypically, that same person is not also the same person that's willing to
like put in the work. yeah. Fair enough. I said it. You didn't have to. Wait, do you guys move out entire fraternities and sororities, or is it mostly just like one person kind of a thing? And with that, do you also move out like houses of people too?
Yeah. I mean, we've moved out individual people that have signed up, which have turned into an entire home. We've done like one-off specialty moves where we've cleared out like entire fraternity houses and stuff too. We've done there. Obviously, during the pandemic, we became very flexible and did a lot of different things. Bread and butter is one customer at a time.
Gotcha.
But once we're expanding into a lot more of like the SEC schools and big fraternity and sorority houses. We were more like in the Northeast and on the East Coast, where there's not as many like, here's a sorority house with 180 people, right?
What's up? It's probably Garrett. Love him to death. We can keep going.
Yeah, you're good. So I think eventually we'll start to offer more like deals. Hey, we'll make a partnership with like your house mom. It's X amount of money. We'll move out X amount of people for
Yeah.
this many items, packages and stuff like that.
He's a super nice guy, and he's gonna feel so. He's gonna be like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, it doesn't matter, but like, he's gonna feel so bad about it. So he's the one that like helps build all this stuff. Oh, what was I gonna say before we were so rudely interrupted? So what? So after that first year, y'all moved into, like you said, 3 colleges. So obviously, when you're going to Wake Forest, it's easy. Well, not easy, but like it's easier for you to be like, hey, I'm Wake Forest. Like, let's do this shit. I'm in the dorm. I'm gonna move you out. Year 2, it's like, okay, you no longer go to this school. Like, what is, like, how are you physically going to all those dorms too? Like, how do you expand into that second school?
No, I've maybe stepped foot on like 2 or 3 other campuses that we've served ever.
Nice.
So yeah, it was like I have a good friend that at the time went to Miami, and one of them went to Syracuse, and they ran it. They got people.
Nice.
I trained them, and I was figuring it out kind of along the way, you know. And the first year it was Wake Forest. It was Orange Storage in Syracuse. It was Kane Storage in Miami. Same colors.
I like that. Yeah,
it was the reason we got in trouble, but it was the reason. But then I think that allowed to kind of create some initial attraction. It's like, oh, this must be like through the school.
You just said "so sorry," all caps. He's like the nicest guy. Literally. Sorry, what were you saying?
We'll get him in here.
Okay,
but
Kane Storage. Yeah, you got in trouble.
Question. Yeah. So I mean, but at this point, no, I don't go to the campuses. I mean, we hire individual people. We have now, we call them like campus teams coaches. These are adults full time that coach and manage the different.
Oh, cool.
Like campus co-founders.
Oh, so like it's like when you open up a new campus, they like go in and just like run shit pretty much, or
they
like,
run everything, but then you have like a team lead on our executive team that basically runs 10, 15, 20 campuses.
Gotcha.
And they have a weekly cadence of meetings. They give them the different assignments. They check in with them. They do creative marketing plans. They give them budgets and stuff like that.
Does it become kind of like copy paste at a certain point? Like when I mean, I know like Alabama's gonna be different than like Syracuse, but like, do you kind of have like a template? There's a better word for that, but you kind of like a template when you go to these universities, like this is how it's going to work, this marketing campaign is probably going to work, kind of a thing.
As much as possible, right? I mean, you have to stay flexible.
Blueprint was the word.
Blueprint. Yeah, so there's like an exoskeleton, so to speak.
Oh, damn it, you just
right? But like,
there's a paradigm, if you will.
But yeah, that's the reason why the students are powerful, right? Because like you go, hey, these are the 10 things that have worked in the last 5 years on these campuses. Pick 5 of them that you think will be the best, and also what else do you think will work, right?
Yeah.
And we'll give you a budget so you feel empowered to do the thing that you think could be really cool. And if that means sponsoring like derby days for Sigma Chi, or if that means standing outside and a residence hall and getting puppies from the local ASPCA. No one's actually done that, but I think that'd be sick. And
is that an on the spot idea, or is that like I don't know?
I just made that up. But I can
do that, dude. That's like genius, dude.
Yeah. And then be like, oh, puppies. Oh wait, no, storage. Nice.
Well, you could put them in little storage lockers. That could be the thing.
Or in the boxes, right?
Yeah. They make little storage. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll
yeah. So, but yeah, it's as best as possible. We keep the foundations, and then we let the kids kind of run with it.
Very cool. And I went on your website and I saw like a bunch of college logos. Does that just mean that you're literally at that college, or does that mean that like that college is like, this is our storage? Like, is there a relationship at this point?
Yeah. So if you go out like our campus partnership page, those are like the official inked. These are the people that were the like official storage approved storage moving and shipping vendor on campuses. A lot of those other campuses too, we have contact with them, and they're like, hey, we love you, or you're allowed to operate. We're just not going to contractually say you're the official vendor, right? Or it might be a state school, and they're like, hey, we're going to give you the same access to the dorms that you would get in a contract and the same treatment, but we're a state school. Like, we'd have to put this out to RFP. I believe in you. I'm in this role on campus, but like I got to push this up to legal, and like this is going to take a while. So let's let this like wait till next year.
Gotcha.
So, we have like permission, so to speak, to be on these, but not like official sign. Hey, if I was selling this company, I would have something to sell afterwards.
But even with the students though, it's still like a door-to-door thing, or it's more like you're doing actual like marketing campaigns, or kind of both?
No one to date, I don't think, has really had. It's not their company, right? Like,
yeah.
It was pretty. I mean, I got kind of ostracized for a while, like for knocking on doors,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I've had people like slip flyers under doors
Nice,
and such too,
nice.
and a lot of people will do that.
Mhm.
I don't think anyone's like really actually
Like
gone
door-
door-to-door salesman
Yeah.
since then. But we do everything under the sun. I mean, we do targeted, like over the head social media ads, like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, like
Nice.
email campaigns. They're setting up a table on campus with raffles and food and
Nice.
and
Nice.
you know, selling storage, whatever it might be. I mean, any sort of like social event or philanthropy event,
Mhm.
we want to be involved. We want to be there. We're creating a brand on campus. It's not like a cash grab at the end of the semester, like come use storage scholars. It's like this is a brand that's pretty well recognized on college campus.
And what's a more valuable stat for you? Is it a new campus, or is it like the campuses you have growing on those campuses?
The latter, right?
Okay.
I mean, me and like the exec team are reading a book called Profit First right now.
Okay, yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
sounds cool. You're on Shark Tank. You're like, we're on 23 campuses.
Yeah,
And you're like,
yeah.
how we this year we're going to be on 60. It's true, right? But like,
Exactly.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You know,
Yeah,
like
exactly,
one of them
exactly.
could be a school that we get, 20 customers.
Exactly.
One of them could be a school that we get 750. And, we have X amount, $100,000 of profit because we've been there for 6 years. So I'm not, like, even from an investor standpoint too, it wouldn't matter like that
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
on 60 markets. It's going to be like,
It sounds
where you-
good.
Yeah, where you actually do. So yeah, on a podcast it sounds great.
Yeah, of
In
course.
reality, of course, yeah. I mean, I care more about the actual like, sustainable growth and profitability on campus.
And you said you're at 23 campuses currently?
We were on 23 this last spring.
Gotcha.
We should be on 60 this spring.
Oh wait, that's an actual number. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
there you go, guys. There you
Yeah.
go. What would you say like the do you have like recurring numbers that you go off of too? Like this person ordered 3. Do you do semesters? Do you 3 years? Like what's the whole recurring situation, and how often do they usually repurchase?
Yeah. So we also try to. So I have like this like blended stat, but it's kind of jaded because number one, we haven't been on campuses. Some of these for more than a year.
Oh, yeah, for
right.
sure,
Like
for
these
sure.
are the numbers from last year, and
Yeah,
a lot of those campuses were first year campuses. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And when you think about, I should like explain the service as well. So
No,
you
for
get
sure.
an idea of what it is, but like people that are using the service oftentimes live on campus because they're the ones that get kicked out of their dorm at
Yeah.
the end of the semester. If
Yeah.
you live in a house, usually it is a 12-month lease and you can just leave your stuff there.
Yeah.
So we also target campuses that have a high on-campus living requirement.
Smart.
So it might be freshman year, freshman, sophomore, junior year.
Mm-hmm.
These small liberal arts schools are 4 years. That's like, okay, we actually could potentially have a
Nice.
customer for 4 years. But the ones that are only a freshman, they'll use this freshman year, maybe sophomore year, and then they're like, I don't like need to use this anymore too. So, I mean, we do have repeat customers, and on the
Yeah.
campuses that we have high on-campus living requirements, people oftentimes do use us for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
But even then, too, we've been in business for 6 years. So, like, I got a customer when they were a sophomore. You know what I mean? Like, there's, I think it's still time will tell exactly what it will be. But at the end of the day, once you figure out a problem for someone they didn't even realize they have, they're not going to go back in reverse and start shopping it for themselves.
Oh, for
right?
sure. They're going to haul their shit back, and then yeah.
And then be like, actually, I want to move it myself now, right?
Exactly.
Like,
I like that.
but let me just like pause for a second and break down actually like what we do.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So it is like pick a university, like on the East Coast, or anywhere.
That you're in? Okay.
Anywhere, I don't care.
We'll do it Duke. I don't know.
Duke, right?
Or UNC, sorry.
So yeah, UNC. If you're a UNC student, right?
Yeah.
You're living you go to school in North Carolina. You're from California. So about a week before final exams, oftentimes that's called like the reading day, the last day of classes. You would get email, text messages, whatever, and you would meet some of the people from Storage Scholars on campus. They would give you boxes, tape, bubble wrap, labels, any sort of like necessary packing supplies.
Cool.
Get the stuff back to your room, pack up your stuff.
So you pack up your stuff.
The student
individually?
itself, the customer itself. You
Sorry,
pack
that's
up-
what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm the student.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the customer packs up
Yeah.
their own things. They snap a couple photos of the items they're looking to store. Box 1, box 2, plastic bin.
Y'all have like an
headboard.
app, I'm assuming. They're like doing it in something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, okay.
And then they're uploading it like to the customer portal. They can add additional insurance, lock up, and go home.
Gotcha.
And then everyone leaves campus. And our teams come in the day after campus closes, in the 24 to 48 hours before they turn over those dorms for summer school.
That's a tight
Awesome.
window for everybody.
But it's
you
also
really gotta
operationally
like.
so efficient too, though.
I mean, well, true, but you really got to be like, guys, we're in, we're in and out.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize you were moving all that shit within 48 hours.
Yeah. So,
Damn.
so like, in rewinding from there, before that, this used to be like a 7 to 10 day process where people would schedule appointments, but we might go back to the same dorm, to the same room, to the same house 4 times throughout the week, right? Operationally, so inefficient.
Yeah.
Right. So now everyone leaves. Also, when we get to the room, it's not like the kid's still packing or like mom's still in the room and the kid's studying for their exam. Like, everyone's done, it's packed up, it's labeled,
Just
it's good
quiet,
to go.
just silence. You just get to work.
And you can walk in, literally like open the door, run it out. Like, and we're going 4th floor, 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor. So it is quick. So it's cheaper for us too. It's a better service for the customers because they don't have to wait around for a pickup appointment or bring their stuff down to the sidewalk. We store it over the summer. And then it's ready and waiting. We pre-deliver it before they even arrive back on campus in the fall.
Dude.
So it's like magic. It comes back and it's in their new room. So that's like the summer.
Oh, you put it in their new room for them?
So we move it out of Johnson 212B in May, and then they move to Davis 412A in August, and it goes from their room to storage and then to their new room again.
Do they have like a little flyer a little website that they upload their new room to, or like you guys? Does the campus send you the new room? Like, how do you get that information?
Nice. Yeah.
It's a good question.
Yeah, so that is all. One, they write it out physically on the box where I'm returning to, so it helps just like, okay, that's where it's going. But at the same time, more efficiently, more like officially, they have to put it on their account. They have to update their account. Where am I getting my stuff dropped off to? Also, don't want to keep some things in storage. Want to ship some things home. That kind of deal.
Cool.
Transferring schools. To go down like a tangent a little bit on that question, that in and of itself was a slight issue too. Where
for sure.
We'd pre-deliver people's stuff and they'd say, hey, I'm living in Davis 404B. So we'd bring it
they're
to
going to
Davis.
fuck up every time,
Either they screw it up or, whatever it may be. So, and they would come back like, my stuff's not here. And we're like, it's missing, right? And you go on this wild goose chase and you realize it's literally in the room locked up next door because they put in the wrong letter.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
So it's not even their fault necessarily. It's middle of summer, it's July. Yeah, I live in this room. Or maybe it's changed, right? The university changes it for you. So similarly, just a couple weeks ago, this was a partnership like 4 years in the making, but we just partnered with a company called StarRes.
Oh my God, we're partnered with everybody.
Yeah, and it's not like we're partnered with FedEx, right? Because they do all our shipping. Like, like we're actually have integrations together and stuff. But we do use FedEx. But
shout out FedEx. This podcast sponsored by FedEx. We'll get there. Yeah.
But they're the biggest student housing portal in the world. So, and they also just bought up the number 2 and number 3 player.
Nice.
So it's a white labeled software that if you were a UNC student, you're going on your residence life and housing UNC portal, and it's like, pick your roommate, pick your meal plan, pick your new dorm. It's all like through the university, and then it says, do you want your items ready and waiting in your room when you arrive back on campus, right? So, and that also from like a partnership with the university standpoint, there's aspects of like, hey, you need to kind of promote us to make this service available so that students like know what's going on. Now this is, hey, paste this snippet of code into your pre-existing platform, and it's already part of the student experience. So for them, it's literally like snap of their fingers. They do no work, they pay no money, and this is just a value add to the campus and sometimes revenue sharing.
Dude, I like that a lot. That makes so much sense. I love partnerships so much. It's like, it's my favorite. Where I signed a partnership for this 20,000 gym corporate group literally last January. I just got like, there we go. Well, I just signed I just had my first like, hey, we're going live email with the gym like 30 minutes ago. And then we do a 20,000 email campaign next week. So I've been doing podcast shit for the last few weeks, kind of waiting. I'm like, hey guys, like, when are you gonna go live? So, anyways, partnerships, fucking love it, man. It's so much easier to have a partner. I can imagine just going and like I have this whole system with the college, and then I just push a button, and now my shit's in my dorm. It's like, that's what an evolution from like you knocking on doors like 7 years ago, Yeah. Oh, so cool, dude. So cool. Yeah. Now let's. Oh, actually, one question before we get to the Shark Tank stuff. Do you just go to like the regular storage locally? Like I can't remember a single name of any of them, but
Keep Smart, Extra Space, Live Storage.
Get them. Do you just go to those and like just fucking start picking up storage lockers and renting them, or like do you have exclusive deals, or are you going to build your own storage? Like, what's the situation?
Yeah, so I mean, year one, freshman year, I went down the street.
Of course,
got the 1 month free, and you know, paid for 3 months, and figured it out, right? And used that for a couple years. Then started subleasing out warehouse space, cheaper, bigger spaces, easier to like operate than in little storage units.
Oh, you have okay, so you're not. Sorry, I was still picturing like actual like the orange storage lockers. So you have your like just a warehouse with a bunch of shit in it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So, and then, but even that didn't become scalable too, because most commercial places don't want you to have a 4 month lease. Like they want it to be a 5-year lease.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And then we said, okay, we went back to storage units. We made like a national partnership with one of these like self-storage providers. Put all like the infrastructure on one platform, so it was easy to like rent them out, vacate them, and that saved a bunch of money too. But then that's also still more expensive than like a large warehouse. That's when the server partnership came into play, because now we pay exactly per the square footage or per customer for the exact amount of students we're storing for the exact amount of months, and there's no overhead there.
Wait, so that's the one that you just partnered with Thursday, right?
So they're a national moving and international moving and relocation company. So we have the students sign up to use the service. We give them the supplies. They pack up their stuff. They leave it in the room. Then the students that work for us go in. They unlock the doors, and then they lead this moving company around, who picks up all the stuff. They bring it to their trucks. They bring it to their facility, and then they bring it back to campus. And in August, our students once again open the doors, and then the moving company puts it back in the room.
And that company is storing that stuff for you the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Yeah.
I love it, bro. Yeah. Are the students, did they just open the door and kind of like sit there and watch the movers move, or did they kind of like pick up a lamp or something like that? Like,
no,
because I would feel terrible. I'd be like, guys, you want some help, guys? Like,
well, from a liability standpoint, this year we're going to change it where the students don't touch anything, because we did like a mixture between, and it was like we're taking it from the room down to the sidewalk, and then it's like, well, did it break in the room around the sidewalk, or so now they're touching it full spectrum, but the students themselves are the ones that are running our website. So they're the ones that are taking the additional photo inventory, they're taking the manual inventory, they're making sure it all matches up. And that way, while that's happening, photo, take it out, photo, take it out. Like it makes it really quick. Nice. And they're trained with us the entire semester, so the moving company themselves doesn't have to learn the different tech. Yeah.
Is there another storage scholars out there?
There's other players.
Okay.
They operate slightly differently. I mean, I truly believe that we have so many differentiators, and a lot of it just comes down to service quality.
Yeah.
Right? Some of our more like head-to-head competitors that were like people like myself have gotten gobbled up recently by these bigger corporations that are running like a big corporation. It's not the same personalized experience, it's not the same customer service. It's all outsourced.
Exactly.
It's just a different animal,
different
right?
vibe. Yeah.
And like one of them's owned by U-Haul, right? That's been around, so it's like hard to compete in that sense of like with the name recognition, but the quality of the service we offer is just so much tremendously better. For sure. And that's not something you can really figure out until you just use it.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
So,
yeah. Like you knocked on doors, and then U-Haul just comes in and is like it's not the same experience, you know?
No,
like,
yeah. I mean, I won't like talk to their experience or like their
of course
process and stuff. But like you know, it's just more industrial, let's just say.
For sure. So let's get to the Shark Tank stuff, man. Because I had a buddy that the episode didn't go live, and he like literally pissed himself a little bit when he was pitching on Shark Tank. And then I had people that like waited like multiple days, and then they literally just like didn't get to go. I've had people pitch and then not air. Yours aired, right? I think I saw yours before I even met you. Yeah, I've heard so many different experiences. Of the episodes that have aired, every single person across the board has said that like they are glad that they did it for more than one reason. So like, how was your experience? Are you glad you did it? We'll kind of just get into the gambit about that.
Yeah, I know, BO. Yeah, it was a like lifelong dream, right? As a child, right? So that in and of itself was super
especially
cool.
B2C too. Like that's just free marketing for you guys. Like.
Yeah, so the dream to get on the show was there. Also, you're sweating bullets. I mean, just like get through that experience, right? Flying out to California, like pitching in front of the Sharks. That was like a cool lifetime, piece of life experience. The effects of Shark Tank, I'll talk about it right now. So most people will receive what they would call like the Shark Tank bump. You're a B2C, you sell a product, you get $100,000 in sales the day that it launches, right? The day that it airs. You have to make sure your website's set up, like you don't crash because you're gonna get so much traffic. for us, we got 14 people signed up to use Storage Scholars like on October 14th, right? Like,
well, that's the worst time to air it too.
Well,
it's not even
So we were hyped about it airing as early as possible because the B2C standpoint, it's yet to be realized fully. I don't fully know because people are going to move out and they start signing up in April, May. I mean, I don't care how prepared you are. If you're a college student, you're not signing up for a moving service until 2 weeks before you move
exactly.
out. Right?
Yeah.
So, but from a B2B standpoint, in terms of us doing administrative sales, we wanted to have the longest runway possible to pitch that we're no longer a dirty, sweaty moving company, that you're not going to be able to listen. You don't want to listen to me for an hour to hear why we're different. It's like, oh, you're just a moving company. We're not going to hear you. Now it's, hey, here's the amount of customers we serve. Here's our reviews. We're a Mark Cuban-backed Shark Tank company. We're partnered with Star Res.
Oh, he invested?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I should have rewatched it. My bad.
Yeah.
my bad. Dude, we'll get into that in a sec. I watched it probably like 2 years ago, and then Andrew was like, yeah, and I've been busy, and I was just like, I don't know. I can't remember what happened. So we'll get to that in a sec.
Well, it released, this was October 14th, like a couple months ago. So maybe you've watched a different episode.
Maybe I watched it. Well, I've been going through a YouTube, I'm a YouTube guy now.
Nah.
I probably saw it in the last few months then, because like my YouTube feed is like Joe Rogan and Shark Tank clips. Nice. So I'm sure I saw it like November or some shit then. Yeah, okay.
Nice. Well, we're also like the teaser for season 14.
Oh, nice.
It's like, welcome to season 14, and we're jumping out of a box. So
yes, yep. Okay, that's what I saw. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Woo!
yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah, literally, like every probably 2 days I have a new Shark Tank clip, and I'll watch it like 7 minutes of it, and I'm like, all right, dude, this is good. Okay, so continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So it turned from us basically getting shut down, like, we'll talk to you next year, we'll see you at a conference, like maybe to, we sent out a pretty significant like cold email blast and got ridiculous results. Like
nice.
we started our B2B, like built our first deck last year and demoed, I would say like a dozen schools, signed like 5 or 6. And it was
so B2B means schools, or is it
to schools, like university administrators?
Cool.
And we've given over 70 demos in the last like month and a half, right?
Oh, damn, nice.
So people are, and now it's okay, like word of mouth. Oh, I had talked to this person, and here's the 5 intros to these 5 different schools, right? Nice. So it's opening a lot of doors in the sense of credentialing and legitimizing us. But I don't even think because the people think like our service is better. It's because initially I was a student, now you're a young kid. Like I believe that what you're gonna do, hopefully, is like, they say, oh, this is a great service, right? But they look at us and they're like, are you really gonna be our moving provider for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Are you gonna work with us for a year, 2 years, get your money, go sell, whatever, or go get your big boy job, right? Now it's like, oh no, like these kids, quote unquote, are like actually serious about this. Let me have a conversation with them.
Very cool.
So I think that's been the biggest out from a B2B standpoint. And then I touched on this earlier in the episode, but we're a service business. So like the service is the result of like the actual people that you talk to on the ground. Yeah. And as a result of Shark Tank from a legitimizing standpoint too, like we were not cool, right? It was Storage Scholars, right? Come intern for a logistics company on campus, like, nah, right? Now it's come intern for a Mark Cuban-backed Shark Tank company. Kids are like, wow, I actually want to put that on my resume. That actually sounds cool. They heard our story, they heard our pitch. So we've received like an influx of application from a student-wise, but also from like a professional sense. But not just like we received a lot more, we received a lot more quality. Because we're competing with such a different level of caliber of people that want to apply. So
for sure. Yeah, I mean, good news all around. Dude, I mean, I feel bad for not knowing that on the Shark Tank thing. I honestly, like, I know I've seen the popping out of like the big box thing, and then also, but I could have sworn it was an episode from like 2 years ago. Again, I've seen literally so many of them. Like it's like I've watched every single season.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I legit did not know y'all are Mark Cuban backed. I should have done. I mean, I got like 50 questions here. I'm just ashamed that I missed that. This is only the second time in my podcast history I've like missed a giant fact, which is really cool. Good to know that. Wait, so what was the pitch experience like? Because I know from other interviews that like, because it looks like on the show you just walk out there and start pitching, but you actually like walk out and then stand there for like a minute while the camera's set up on you. I know that, and then I also know that there's like 30 people to your left in like bleachers with like notes that are like texting the Sharks like valuations and shit like that. Was that also your case too? Oh, okay, I can't say anything.
No,
Oh.
horse and blinders, I'm saying.
Oh, you
I
had no idea.
I mean, yes, there were people there. I am not looking at the cameras, right? I am dialed in, you know. It is game time. So, yes,
Dude.
I'm sure there were people there, and there was, but, like, I was not.
You weren't counting. Yeah.
You have enough sharks to look at. You're not, like,
Yeah.
turning to the left and be like, hey, what's going on, right?
dude.
It's your
Yeah.
moment, right? I mean, this is your
Yeah.
for me, it was my Super Bowl, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like I like low-key kind of blacked it out. I mean, you know, like you've practiced the presentation, you've practiced the pitch, you've practiced answering those 150 plus VC questions. Like you know what you're gonna say, or
Yeah.
you should at least.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, at least in my opinion, if like actually give yourself the highest chance of leaving with a good performance.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Well, how many episodes did you watch back through before you went on the show?
So many. To be candid, like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an authentic person.
Yeah.
My business partner, he's like a 3.99 biochemistry GPA.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
by the book. Like he knows how to study for an exam, right? And
I love
I
it.
think he flipped a different switch and was like, this is a game. Like we can beat the game. How do we beat the game?
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he watched hundreds of episodes. I had my play in certain things. For example, like you talked about the walking down the stage, standing on the carpet, and they make you stare there for a minute. Who knows what they use that for? To clip you at different times and good or bad, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, how can we avoid that?
Oh,
right?
use the box.
So that's why I was like, let's do this box.
Dude!
Let's jump out. And
Yeah.
then that way we don't have to stand and we can start right away.
I fucking love that so much.
So
Wow,
there
dude.
was a couple things that we were like kind of getting hints of, here's how you can look bad. And we're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if we're going to spend 9 months investing in this experience, like we hundreds of hours of work to get on the show.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to do all this and then like fumble at the 1 yard line or
Yeah.
get on there and look like an idiot. Right. So
Like the guys that tried to like break down the door, that one, you know what I'm talking about?
I love that one. Yeah. But that created
It's
good
like
TV
8
though.
times. Yeah, it made great TV, but it's like, yeah, it's like, how do I avoid looking dumb, basically? Yeah, I like that, dude. Wow, that's so smart, dude. No, actually, so I literally have had 3 Mark Cuban companies on my podcast, actually, so I didn't know it was Mark Cuban specific.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've heard everything under the sun from him. Like one company, they've never even spoken to him. It's just been email investments purely. One company, it's like, Mark like replies to all their investor updates. And so like, what's your experience been with Mark post Shark Tank?
So this must be a crazy week because we actually closed Tuesday.
Oh, you just closed Tuesday with Mark?
Yeah.
Dude, you
Yeah.
got Tuesday and then Serva this whole...
Last Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, last Thursday, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the Why We Strive podcast in 1 week.
It's the money just hit, like Brad hit there the Tuesday, you know. It was, and we were running close to the sun for sure. Like,
Did the deal change at all from the Shark Tank pitch?
I mean, $250,000, 10%.
Gotcha.
No, but I mean, there's a lot of intricacies of what made that get dragged out for so long, and I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of it came down to us because here's like one stat, right? If you're a small business owner in America, if you own a business for 5 years and you sell after owning it for 5+ years, the first $10 million are tax free, right? But if we were North Carolina LLC,
With the first 10 million are tax free if you sell your business?
yeah, it's absurd.
Wait, I've never heard that stat in my entire life.
Yeah. So you own a business for 5+ years in America.
Yeah.
5 years and later, the first $10 million of your sale price are tax free.
Wait, okay. I want to believe you, but I've never heard that in my entire life.
Okay, so that's what it better be true because it took us like 4 extra months and probably thousands of dollars in legal fees to get around that. Because what we were then converting from a North Carolina LLC to a Delaware C corp, and in doing that, it basically
reset your
our,
timeline.
and I'm like, that's for $250,000 investment, like that's just dumb.
Yeah.
I don't actually have plans to sell in the next 5 years, but who knows, right? Like you don't know what's gonna happen.
So you're saying it was a risk because if you do sell in the next 5 years, you would get taxed on under 10 million.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
and that's
okay.
like $2 million, $3 million.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so yeah, like
I've
I'm
never
gonna,
heard that though. I'm gonna. You seem like a very smart guy, but I'm gonna have to
look it up,
I've
man.
never in my life heard that, dude. All right, I'll believe you for
most
now.
people don't have successful businesses for 5
I
years.
mean, that's true. I don't know a lot of 10 million people, but I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
No, my buddy's brother sold his company for like $400 million, and it's like that's a different story.
Then you don't care about the first time.
Yeah, you're
though,
like
dude.
LLC, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Delaware C corp should have been anyways. Like y'all should have been. I feel like just because everyone does that.
Well, I mean,
you're already doing great.
Just
things,
because like
too.
Post Malone rapped, or not Post Malone, like Lil Dicky. I don't remember now. Like
Lil Dicky,
on the spot.
Lil Dicky
like,
did. He did.
Yeah.
It was Lil Dicky, right? Yeah.
Sorry, another like rapper, but
No, you're good. You're good.
But I mean, we're like a moving company in North Carolina as a college
dude,
student.
no,
We're like an LLC, and then we're like an S corp because it's better tax structure. And then
Nice.
2 weeks, 3 months later, we're on Shark Tank. We're like, okay, fine. So I know my lawyer very well.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to Google that 10 million thing. Okay, so what was the pitch? How long did the pitch last? So I know like some pitches last like 50 minutes, and even though they only show like 6, it's like how long was the pitch for you guys?
I don't fully know.
You're like, I blacked out.
I blacked out. Also, there's no like timer on me.
Yeah.
I've been told it was between like an hour and 15.
Hour 15. Damn.
And then it was like 9 minutes is what the clip went down to.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Has it aired on Hulu yet, or is it just like?
Oh yeah. It went on
Okay.
Hulu. So yeah, we're season 14, episode 4, and we're the opening pitch.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Woohoo! Welcome to Shark Tank.
No, yeah. I'll have to go watch the whole Hulu clip because I mean the whole Hulu episode because I've seen it on YouTube then. Because I went through a full Shark Tank binge last year, so I just assumed that's where I saw it at. But I'll have to like go through and watch the whole thing now. I'm excited to watch the whole thing now.
Yeah. I wonder what happens at the end.
That's what I'm saying. No room for me. When you guys came into the, can I guess what you were asking for when you came in?
Yeah.
Were you asking for $250,000 for 5%?
100%.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
too easy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, viewers maybe do or do not know this, but it's like not your traditional VC negotiation in which you can't, in Shark Tank, you can't go down. So I couldn't have gone in for $250 for 10% and then settled on $300 for 5%. So we knew, it's like, this is a reality TV show. Like, even numbers sound good on TV. Like, they're going to make fun of us for $250 for 5%. Ooh, what is that valuation, right?
Exactly.
But, like, we were, like, hard and fast. Like, we're not going to give up more than 15%. So we figured that gave us a good cushion to more than likely end up around 10 plus. And the money was bonus.
Well, dude, I love watching it because like every time I'm like, I guarantee they're gonna ask for 12.5, and I nail it every time. It's just like it's the easiest like trajectory.
That's what America wants, man.
Exactly.
They want 12.5.
Well, I always thought when I went in, excuse me, we're not when we used to be a B2C, we're not B2C, so it makes literally no sense for me to go on. But like, I always thought if I went on, I would watch every single episode and I would categorize every question and every response and get like an exact like, this worked, this didn't work kind of a thing. Is that kind of what your co-founder did?
Yeah, we did a lot of hours of practice pitching.
Nice.
Right.
Like friends and family, investors, like who were you pitching to?
Yeah, and it's like, you're Mark tonight, like you're a laureate. We were supposed to have a guest shark too, and that changed a couple times. So like we were like researching who's the guest shark and
was there one or no?
No.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So a lot of elements changed. But
did you have different answers for different people?
Yeah.
Well, I love that.
You have to though.
Yeah.
It's your one moment.
No,
dude.
yeah.
This is your commercial for the rest of your life. I feel like when I was thinking about this too, it's like your grandfather and you're talking to your grandson. You're like, like what are this you know, I grew up in New York. I went to school here. We were on Shark Tank. Like, then I made this company. Like, you know, like it's gonna. I feel like it's a resume like life event. You know,
for
so
sure.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't like, we got embarrassed on Shark Tank.
The door didn't open.
I don't know why my voice is getting low. Like, am I gonna live in the South for the rest of my life?
It's a good grandpa voice though. For sure. It's very good. It's very good. Well, dude, talk about that for hours. Like, besides Mark, did you guys have any other angels or VCs come in to the table?
Yeah, we got offers from everyone.
Oh, sorry. I'll say before Shark Tank. Sorry.
No. So we were not raising.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was applied to Shark Tank senior year. Like, it was more like, that's sick. Like, let's do it. And then applied again, kind of off a whim. Like, I didn't even tell my business partner. I was home December 2021 at my dining room table, and I was kind of nostalgic. I'm like, let's do it again, right? And we get a call in February, like, we want you to apply. You're like, yo, let's do it.
Nice.
Super happy it happened. I think we kind of found our why during the application process of like what we really thought we were going to get out of it. Money's also great too. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then because you guys are just a pure cash flow business. So you're just like
cash flow positive.
Yeah. That's awesome. Wait, what did you guys do in revenue last year?
$2 million.
Dude.
Yeah.
Good shit, bro.
Yeah.
How much of that, like, actually, you don't have to answer this, but like, does a big majority of that go towards labor, or is it like you guys pretty cash flow friendly? I guess.
Yeah, massive part of it goes to like contractors and labor and
gotcha,
stuff like that, which is according to the numbers, according to my calculations here, Corey, Serva actually will reduce, given the projections we have, our cost a lot.
Nice.
You know,
very cool.
Because there's a lot of inefficiencies of a college student may be cheaper per hour, but then you have to get more.
You got to train them.
You have to train them. You also have to get more to assume that maybe 3 of them aren't going to show up, or you don't want to understaff, and then also you need to do a move in July 4th. Literally, this happened on Christmas. We got to call Christmas morning. Hey, I need my passport. I'm flying to Barcelona tomorrow. It's in storage. You can get it for me, right? So when you get those calls, I mean, you got to figure it out for the customer, and getting a student to do that, like you got to call 50 of them and find out who's, you know what I mean? So it's just, it wasn't,
that's tough.
It becomes more operationally inefficient. And if you can have the same person, the same point of contact, an adult that is a mover the whole year, like that's going to help a lot of things.
What were some of Mark's like maybe like pushbacks, I guess? Like what were his like oh well, this isn't going to be big enough, or like you guys need to find new markets, or like how are you going to go to every college? Like what was he saying to you guys?
He was definitely a shark, right? I mean, because he asked the most questions in the beginning, and then he went quiet. Everyone made their offers.
He'd be doing that.
He'd be doing that,
sitting over there.
right? And then he's like, yeah, and I'm like, yes, Mark. Like,
because you want Mark. Like, I mean, you want everybody, but like Mark's, you know,
his daughter is also a freshman at Vanderbilt too. Like, so the problem for him hits home a lot more.
Yeah, I'm sure they could not afford to.
Yeah, you know.
He's like, how are we gonna do this?
Yeah, interesting. I actually wonder. I'll tell you the story. Let me know how you would have answered this.
Okay.
We got an email from him an hour after the episode. Like, after we got off stage. Like, hey, like, super sick, da-da-da-da, like, glad we had a deal. Also, my daughter's a high school senior going to Vanderbilt this fall. Like, we offer a ship-to-school service, which I can chat about in a sec, too. But, like, can you basically offer her services at Vanderbilt? We don't operate at Vanderbilt.
I would do Vanderbilt. Yeah.
No, but, like, so the question is, can you do her this, like, in, like, 3 weeks from now?
I would say yes, 100%.
Okay.
What'd you say?
So we said no.
Real?
We said no. Because for us, it was the first time we've been doing the summer storage business. That's I'm curious because we've been doing the summer storage business for 5 years at the time. Like we know that's good. Like 80% of our business right now. But then we also have a ship to school service. So this is targeted at mostly incoming freshmen. Okay. So you're a high school senior. We will ship you our boxes, prepaid return shipping labels, tape, bubble wrap, whatever. You'll then ship us maybe your winter clothes or extra things to us over the summer. We'll store that, as well as your online wish list from Target, Amazon, Bed Bath & Beyond. You'll paste in your tracking numbers to our system. We'll receive all those things and then have them ready and waiting in your freshman dorm room when you arrive on campus in the fall. Right. And from a university's perspective, like, package receiving is non-revenue generating. And then they also don't have the storage to have 5,000 kids shipping them their futons. And they have to hire more people. And then when the kids get to campus, they have to wait online. I have a video from Vanderbilt where people were waiting online for 3 hours. These big tents set up that people were shipping stuff in there, and they're waiting to get their stuff. Like, it's a disaster, right? So if you can be a freshman, drive in your to campus with your parents, they walk in the room and their stuff is just waiting on the bed, and you can spend your time setting it up and then going out to dinner afterwards and not waiting online at Target for 4 hours in traffic. Like, it's a no-brainer. So it's buying goodwill with the university. It's a good first impression for the students, and it kind of allows us to increase the customer life cycle outside of the on-campus students. And this ship-to-school thing was brand new.
Gotcha.
So,
so it wasn't the normal.
And we don't have operations of it. I would have had to hire like multiple people at Vanderbilt. I would have lost money on it, obviously, which that wasn't really the point. But like, and then it may not have been the best, in my opinion. It was like, it may not have been the best service for our investor, which is in first.
It would have looked bad.
So I was like, I'd rather do the smart business play, not lose money on this just because you're our investor. That was the take we took. At the end of the day, like, maybe do what he says, but he's also he's our investor too. He's on our team. He's not
maybe
like,
he appreciated too that you didn't do that.
I hope that's the way it turned out.
Well, I thought you were saying that, like, I was like, I thought you were saying it was like the whole typical moving thing. I was like, open up Vanderbilt like tomorrow kind of a thing. But if it's that's the last thing you want, is like, you can make them happy. Or, okay, this is a great example. Do you watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Do you know Morgan, black guy who had the sick stick? You know what I mean? That beats everybody up. So this is the most random shit of all time. Him and this like guy that played on Manchester United, their team reached out to us. They do a podcast together. They're doing an audio book. I think it's about the Manchester United guy, and Morgan for some reason is doing the voiceovers. I don't understand what's happening, but they were gonna rent out this podcast studio here from us. Again, I don't know.
How much does it cost?
Oh, I mean, we would have charged like $150 an hour or something like that, like nothing crazy. But like that's not the point. I just wanted to meet them and like have them in here.
Yeah.
But like we didn't have this shit yet. Like we didn't have any of this stuff really built. It was kind of like day 2 or whatever. Like we were missing a bunch of things, and I just told them no. I was like, I'd rather not make Morgan and this guy and like create this partnership, because what if you come in here and you have a terrible experience and you never want to talk to me again, and like I ruined this relationship, you know? So kind of the same concept, just like, I mean, we technically could get your daughter's shit over to Vanderbilt, but like it's not going to be a, you know, Storage Scholars approved situation, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
So that's...
yeah.
Everyone would have their own opinion. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, you had a similar gut reaction too, right?
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I mean, yeah, when you of course instantly you're like yes, but then you're like, hold on, let me think about this. Wait, so did he reply like K, or like what did he?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. Wait, so you got other other sharks that wanted to put money in too, or you mean angels after the show wanted to put money in?
No, we were never raising. We got offer from Kevin initially, and then Damon, and then so Lori's the only one that didn't give us an offer. In the you don't see this in the episode. In the actual show, like on stage, she like raved about us for 10 minutes, which was pretty cool. Like it was some of the best compliment. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Some of the best compliments I've ever received. It's like, you guys are the best salespeople I've ever seen in my entire life. If you showed up at my door, I'd buy anything from you. And she's going and she goes, but I'm out. I'm like, okay.
You're like, clearly we're not that good.
Yeah. And then Robert makes an offer, and then Damon and Kevin go in together, and then
was it for like 20% or something like that?
So Damon and Kevin both offered 20 each.
Oh, so 40 total?
250,000 for 20%. 250,000 for 20%.
Okay.
Then Robert offers 500,000 for 20%. Right?
Damn.
And it's like, that's like the clip on YouTube. It's like, he offers double the money. You know, like,
I've probably seen that one then. Okay.
Yeah. And we're like, we could have negotiated with Robert, I'm sure, and gotten him either 15% or lower, more money, like sick, right? Then Damon and Kevin go in together for, I think 250,000 for 40%, and Damon's like, I'm like, dude, and we kind of chuckled at it too.
We're like, what are we doing?
We're going together, okay. And then we kind of look at Robert, and Robert goes, Matt, I offered you 500,000 for 20% of your company. What are you gonna do? And we're like, I'm like, hey, you know, it's like my life dream to be up here. I'd be remiss not to, you know, give the other sharks an
which
opportunity
is always
to
tough.
speak.
Did you guys research that part? Because that's always like,
but
that has like such a like. They'll sometimes just get so pissed. Sometimes they let it happen. It makes no sense. There's no rules when it comes to that.
They were extremely complimentary of us as young men. Is really what it came off to be. So I felt like I had the agency to say that, and they weren't going to get pissed. Plus, we had offers from all of them. Okay. So then, Robert's sitting over here, Mark's sitting over here, and
you're kind of doing like.
So I said that, and we hadn't heard from Mark in like 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
He asked a bunch of questions, then went silent.
Yeah.
And then you see Robert go like, yeah, Mark, what are you going to do? And then it cuts to commercial, and then he comes back, and Mark goes, yeah, so 250,000 for 12%, and I look at each other like, your heart starts pounding like, okay, like we can make a deal off this, right? We counter 250,000 for 8%, and then it was like 300,000, and he goes, I'll do it for 10%, because I think it was 300,000 for 8%. He goes, I'll do it for 10%. We go 300,000 for 10%, and he goes, no, like 250,000. He goes, don't worry about the extra 50K. And like in the moment you're on stage, you're like, yeah, you know. And I watch it afterwards. I'm like, that's what? I was like, $50,000. He's an incredible negotiator. Kudos, and he's the man. But watching it afterwards, I'm like, don't care about the $50,000. Like, what do you mean?
It's a lot of storage.
Yeah. So we ended up settling at 250 for 10.
Nice.
I'm not a regretful person, but I'll share candidly like what definitely some thoughts afterwards. We pitched, I would say, probably for 30 minutes, peppered with questions. And then we got like half the episode became about the negotiation. We got so many offers so quickly.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things the Shark Tank people will tell you, they're like, no matter what happens, this is your episode. Like, tell your story. Like, make sure you don't leave stage being like, I didn't share part of what I wanted to say.
Like why I did this and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And we shared our story, but there was things that weren't inked, but that were in the pipeline, like the Star Res deal, for example, that I feel as though instead of just going back, Mark, I want more money, less equity, and like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, okay, actually pause, deep breath.
Yeah.
This is your moment. Hey, Mark, you know, appreciate the offer. I think it's super valid. You'll bring a ton of, you know, opportunity to the business. We think it should be at this valuation because kicker, you know, we have this partnership coming in with these people. Yeah. And I think in the moment, because it wasn't inked, like we didn't feel comfortable overselling, overpromising, under-delivering, which is probably why we didn't say it.
They would crush you on that too if it wasn't inked.
Yeah. But in reality, that had been 4 years in the making. It was a really good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wonder if I'd been like, this is gonna happen. That might have pushed it over the edge and been like, okay, fine. So who knows? But
there's the other side of it where it's like, are you gonna lose Mark fucking Cuban for $50,000? Like, no. Like you guys, like the amount of investors and like deal flow you'll end up getting through a Mark Cuban situation is unprecedented. Like in time, it's worth $50K. You know, I feel like
he thought so.
he knew so, actually.
He did, and he got me. He's got me for life now.
He got you good, man. You joined the Mark Cuban Company's portfolio.
MCC, baby.
Well, I guess you just inked on Tuesday, so actually, huge congrats, man. If it wasn't so early in the morning, we'd do our tequila sponsor, but it's like 10 on a Friday, and
it's all good.
Every time I do that, I don't get any work done the rest of the day, so it's like I choose not to. But has he done anything to like push you guys forward yet, or is like you think it's gonna come in the future now that he's signed?
I would say he's probably done more than he should have done, given that we were not
done
because
yet.
He's had people like screw him on the 1 yard line all the time. He is. I mean, if I emailed, like we emailed him yesterday, so we're like like official partnership, and 10 minutes later, just emailing back. I mean,
it makes no sense.
Well, he's addicted to the game, right?
Yeah. But for how many emails he has to send to all of his companies and friends
and it's definitely him. I'm gonna err on the side of positivity and think that maybe he likes some more than others, so he responds to those, and hopefully we're one of those. I mean, I would love to be the company that makes Mark the most money, right? Like, you know, that's
some big shoes to fill.
We're on the way, man.
Dude, I'm excited, man.
But yeah, I mean, like we've copied him on quite a few sales emails. Like for the Vanderbilt one, for example, like we were trying to talk to Vanderbilt for a while, they weren't responding. We copy.
You CC'd him on there?
CC Mark Cuban, right? And then you email him on the side, right? Yeah, and you're like, can you dive in on this one for a second? He comes in, he's like, hey, like we're super excited. Like my daughter goes here. We have a bunch of families that are looking to use the service. Like we push this through, and we thought like money, right? And it got us the demo within 2 days, right? Sick. And then we had the follow up, and it's still in the pipeline. So who knows? I mean, I would assume he's probably the biggest alumni.
He went there too?
No, he went to Indiana.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
But not alumni, but probably
donor.
Probably anonymous donor. I don't know. So once again, like still to be fully recognized, like we had a demo with an Ivy League school yesterday. It was like our final finalist round for the RFP, and I was like, should we have like gotten him on the call, you know, you know.
Well, it's the same thing with the 50K. It's like how many buttons are you gonna not push or push? You know what I mean? Like
so it's a fine balance. So if we close now officially, I would love to. I think the plan unofficially would be like take
him on tour, dude.
Well, yeah. Well, at least go first meet him in Dallas at we're in Austin, right? So get us some in-person time. And then kind of go from there, create the relationship in that sense.
Dude, get him to play in my beer pong tournament, dude. We've been trying.
He'd probably win, honestly.
That's what we've been. So a couple of my buddies played last year that he had invested in. And I was like, dude, you got to put Mark on your team, dude. Come on. At least have him do a celeb shot, you know. What was I gonna say? Oh, so when it comes to like growth and becoming Mark Cuban's biggest company, you know what I mean?
Obviously.
Like, of course, it's gonna happen. 5 years plus. Do you see yourselves expanding outside of colleges? Like, is there what other routes do you have for that?
Yeah, this is to me once again goosebumps. Like, as like a business leader, not something I really fully saw until a couple months ago.
How many more? We got another deal coming on Wednesday. We actually signed it.
So I see this as the Crest versus Colgate thing. Like,
Okay.
you pick one as a kid, that's who you use the rest of your life. So if we're the moving company that moves someone to college for a ship to school service, to then for the 4 years throughout college, now with Serva, we can do more of a commercial move. So that we're moving them from their North Carolina home or apartment, storing until July, and then moving them to their first apartment in New York for their first job. Who do you think they're going to call when they're 27 moving to their first house in Greenwich,
100%.
Connecticut, right? And then now when they're the executive and they need to do a relocation plan for their or company or downsizing a office building, like there's an opportunity to become a brand, right? And for a couple of reasons, right? So also we're now the commercial, like approved commercial like storage, moving, and shipping provider for these universities as in way of serving the students. Yeah. So we're starting to get, hey, come in and move out these 2,000 desks.
The college is telling you that?
Put them in storage for 8 months and bring them back. So now we're going to start dominating like year-long the actual university moves as a whole.
Very cool.
Become the official vendor, service the students, which then become like lifetime customers. And we also have access to their parents as well, and we're serving a lot of the like people that go to college oftentimes are a little more affluent, so we're serving like an upper echelon of wealth indexes and stuff too. And it's wow. I just blanked here because I'm like so like deep in a dream right now. Like it is so exciting that I just lost my train of thought.
You're good, dude.
It's just enough. Okay, so wow. Rewind.
No, you're good.
Clip it.
No, that's good. We're good.
So we're serving the students, we're serving them after school, we're serving the university as a whole. And then the partnership with Serva and the partnership with Starways, this is international. So in the same way that I can be here running a campus in North Carolina, California, New York, there's no reason we can't do this in London. There's no reason we can't do this in New Zealand or Australia. So I think it has legs to be a global brand. And when we're servicing the college athletes at the University of Alabama football team, right, and we get like a sponsorship with them, those people are going to become NFL players and like MLB players, and it's like we're serving the next generation of business leaders, celebrities, right? So there's an opportunity to really become a really big brand, right? Serva be the backbone.
It's like a concierge, like moving and storage company for sure.
I want to be the Uber Black. We're black and white. We're sleek. We're luxury. We're the most expensive, but we're gonna do the best fucking job, right?
Wait, and so what? What was I gonna say? What would like, for example, I might go to Europe for a few months and like I might leave my apartment, and so I want my shit put into a storage unit, but like I don't really want to do all that shit, and I also like I don't want to have to move it physically. I don't have to do any of that. So like, what would separate you guys from like just hiring a moving company and then bring it to the storage? Is it like that it's all in one and it's like sleek and just like done and then it comes back right when I get there kind of thing? 100%. Did I just answer your question? Okay.
Yeah, there you go. You're the customer,
and
you're the sales guy. Like,
there you go. Dude, I get job offers all the time on this podcast, man. But cool, yeah. So I'm literally like, I go to Europe and like you guys would just be like, cool, and then done, and then my stuff's back when I get there. Like,
and if you decide that you buy a bunch of shit there and a bunch of extra clothes, you need to bring in a big enough suitcase, we can ship you a pallet of stuff back to America. Right?
Dude.
So at the end of the day, right? Like we could be there's these $100 million like VC backed moving companies, right? Storage companies, whatever, and I'm sure they're doing super well, and they will continue to do super well. We were never, or it was gonna be very hard for us to become like the next great moving company. Yeah. Right. So instead, like we've now created a story, we've created a brand, we've created a loyal customer base that are now going to become the whole next generation. Instead of building the next moving company, buying the trucks, buying the storage units, right? Let's just find the behemoth that if your shipment from Amazon is late, I mean, or Apple or whoever these big companies are, like they're going to be the same people that are doing those types of moves. So then ours might be late, but we're going to be ahead of the game using the best opportunity vehicle to then do the moving, storage, shipping, and we can give you we can bring a 40-yard dumpster to your campus. We can ship your stuff to China. We can pick it up and store it for 8 months. We can move it across the country. Like we can do anything A to Z.
Dude, I love it, dude. The wake storage turned into storage colors. There you go. Yeah, man, I think that's a wrap. I mean, the rest of the questions are like, what happens if you have an exit? What's a day in the life? Who fucking cares? This is great, man. I'm excited for you, man. I think this is a dope ass company. And,
I appreciate it.
I think, well, of course, like I can see you guys easily dominating all of colleges. Like you feel like you have a system down. It's copy and paste to an extent, but like, yeah, I think beyond that, just shipping and storage in general, like concierge, white glove, Uber Black, whatever you want to call it. Like I think y'all are gonna crush it. So I'm excited, dude.
Appreciate it.
That's why we strive, baby. Good
Yes,
stuff,
sir.
man. Dude, there we go. I wanted to thank you for watching this entire episode of Why We Strive. Be sure you head to whywestrive.com and subscribe so every Tuesday you can see incredible interviews with some of the best tech founders, investors, and creatives in the industry. Have an amazing day, and don't forget to keep striving.